Welcome to another episode of the APL Spotlight Series. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, experiences, and most importantly of all, yeah, they've got gifts and talents and they do something special, but it's their vibe. It's high frequency, it's love. They're here to share it with us today, and that's what they do usually on a daily basis. We've had a White House physician to the US president, the youngest Delta Force operator ever, lots of healers, all different makes and models, John Gray. Ariel Ford, Echo Bodine, Lorna Byrne from Ireland, the Angel Mystic, and today coming back to us, Amrit Sandhu, big podcast show host, but more than that, a mentor, teacher, transformation coach, dad, and great sense of humor. I was on a run today, and the only way I could continually come back to his laugh. It's like water. It's like a waterfall that lights you up. So, Amrit, great to see you again. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Brother, it is always such a pleasure to be here, Michael. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I mean, the joy that is emanated through connecting with you is it's absolutely priceless. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Absolutely. And we went a little wild before the show. We'll leave it at that and maybe take some steps in about 20 minutes or so. Amrit, since I've seen you, it's been a year. It doesn't seem that long at all. It seems like 3 months or something, maybe
Mm.
6 months. Your show has gone to like, I'm going to say more than a quarter million subscribers. It was at like 86,000 last time we talked and 5 million total views for your channel. Now it's
That's
20
right.
million total views. And it's more than that. You've had incredible guests. You've had an incredible run. What has been going on with you in the last year, and what have you had to let go of?
Oh, what have I had to let go of is a very interesting question. Um, the short answer to that one is, I mean, it's going to sound spiritual, but it's control, more and more so, big time, and also things panning out the way that I had thought they would. So it's interesting to your point. Lots is happening in terms of things growing. I've been running the podcast for 8.5 years, so it's been quite a long time to, be invested in something. I used to say, actually, my dog passed away earlier this year, and I used to say, outside of my wife and my pet, this was my longest relationship, and it still is kind of true because I was with my dog for longer. But eventually, this show will eclipse, and along the amount of time I spent with my dog will have eclipsed, um, yeah, the amount of time I spent with my beloved pet. But there's lots that I've had to let go recently as well. For the longest time, the podcast, the coach, the guiding, and the mentoring has been this focus. And as she passed earlier this year, as so many shifts and transitions happened, it's been really interesting kind of watching my astrology and what's going on for me astrologically. And then in the last 6 months, I got certified as a Vedic astrologer, Hellenic astrologer, and a Western astrologer all at once. And I don't know how to describe this, Michael, but it sounds weird when I say this out loud. But I haven't really been studying astrology as much as I'm almost like osmosing it on when I'm just in and around all these books, textbooks, courses, materials, and I happen to have gotten certified, and maybe I'm discounting the amount of work that's going in, but it doesn't feel like work. It's almost like the language of astrology was always there, and it was just like waiting for me to arrive at this time. And serendipitously, I'm going through some very interesting astrological shifts right now for this to be opening up right now. So, what am I leaving behind seems to be also this identity of um, coach and mentor. There's always been this guiding light within me of purpose, but it's really interesting to sort of look at, there's this coach and guide, which is now also, it's almost like had a left wing, but now the right wing's coming online in terms of, oh yeah, purpose also like written in the stars. How did you incarnate? Where are you headed? What did the stars have to say about it? And then sort of bringing that all together. And then coaching people through. It's like, hey, this is your chart and this is what's coming up. So very interesting, trippy time, letting go of a lot of, and in terms of letting go is that identity of like, oh, like Amrit Sandhu, life coach, or Amrit Sandhu, like spiritual entrepreneurship coach, stuff like that. So yeah, just really interesting seeing what's coming online. And to that effect, it's been a very interesting last 12 months. Kids, yeah, lots of different things are shifting and changing. Kids are growing, families growing, and all sorts of stuff is happening. So yeah, yeah.
I love it. And I'm sorry to hear about your pooch. My pooch here is named Joy after the angel named Joy.
Oh, really? Cozy.
She's getting up there too, so it's a lot.
Yeah.
That's an experience, and it's happening. So
Mm.
I'm gonna
Yeah, my
ask
heart
you.
goes out to you, brother.
Oh,
It's a deep one. It's a deep one. Yeah.
Her eyes are great though, so I'm hoping I heard extended play from Angels on another run. I always do a lot of chatting during the runs. I heard extended play, so I hope I get a lot more time with her. It'll be good. Um,
Yeah.
you touched on some stuff that touches on the biggest. I rarely tell anybody a question ahead of time, but I did just before the show because I'm going to hit you with the biggest question facing mankind, which is something about our growth and expansion. Is it already here? What do we all need to know about daily? What's in front of us in each moment? What's our opportunity with the universe, with humanity, our hearts right now that might not have been quite the same a decade ago?
Yeah. So, in order to provide some context to that, let's dive in a little bit deeper. And for better or worse, feel into this. Like, don't let me program in a response for anybody that's there, but just feel into if this is resonant for you, then awesome. But please don't take any of this on if it's not right for you. Just conscious of that. But it does seem to be, I've got this vantage of, being a podcast host and then working with lots of people one on one in really deep, intimate spaces, group mentoring, group masterminds, summits, all this sorts of stuff. And even if I was predominantly left brain logic, which the engineer is my background. Um, you'd be remiss of me not to sort of see these patterns that are coming up, and it just seems like there's probably another way of articulating this, but it does seem like at the moment there's this almost this karmic trawler. I don't know if you like people know those fish trawlers that sort of come through. We've had some issues with them in Australia, Asian fishing boats coming through and just trawling through and clearing out the entire like species ecosystems, just like clearing up fish from the ocean. And it's interesting. It almost feels like collectively we're going through this sort of karmic trawling energy where it's like all this karma is being trawled up. Now, for a lot of people, a lot of their stuff is coming up right now. Yeah. And when I mean stuff, it's all the shadow stuff. It's like, oh, this is where I was uncomfortable with my mom. This is where my dad treated me like that and I wasn't okay with it. This is where I'm not great in my relationships. This isn't great where I really struggle on my business frontier. This is where my career is completely. And everybody's stuff's coming up and it's reaching a bit of a crescendo. And I think therein lies the point. For some people, they're reaching into crutches, which I'm at a point now where if you need a beer or two, sure, go for it. If that's what's helping you navigate this time, like I'm not even going to demonize you having crutches, that, that may be perceived as toxic, because at certain points in time, I think you just need the lifelines to help and support you. If you need a couple of Netflix episodes to veg out, just to give you the space, sure, go for it. But at the same time, right now is this real opportunity to how will you show up? Yeah, how will you show up with all that's going on? And there's a trust element that's required if you are going to subscribe to what I've just shared. And I'm, again, fully feel into it if you're ready for it yourself. But as we're going through this shift and all this stuff's getting kicked up, obviously there's going to be like, it's going to be cleaned out, So on the other side of it, there's going to be a whole nother, like reality, there's going to be a whole nother space to the point of what we're discussing earlier, astrologically, there's some really big shifts happening right now, which, the likes of stuff we haven't seen happening in like 12,000 years. Yeah. And so it is a very big time of change. Things do start to settle midway through 2026, 2027, things open up into a whole nother like clean space of air. But in this moment in time, to your point and to your question, how do we show up? And I think the rudder, and I know this is going to sound super cheesy, but the rudder is your heart. The rudder is your heart and your intuition. It's like, and all you have to do on a daily basis, all you have to do when it's all like noise and it's all attracting for the mind and AI is here and you can have conversations with ChatGPT and it's like, you can just, you can get lost in this cacophony of mental noise, is just find some space to take for yourself to just connect in heart based. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be meditation. Yeah. And this is coming from someone that, is a meditation teacher. So it doesn't have to be meditation. For me recently, it's been really nice long walks in nature. Yeah. Just taking a long walk in nature, just allowing everything to settle, decompress. For some people, it's literally just watching their next thought. For some people, it's a gratitude practice. For some people, it's spending time with their kids. But something that fills your cup up and giving yourself permission to, like I said before, move into comfort. Move into comfort. Yeah, but less psychological, more soul based, more heart based comfort. What is that practice that gives you a little bit of space that just makes you feel like, oh, yeah, everything's right in the world again? Because there is a lot going on for us collectively in and around the world. You're seeing lots of different, like, there's climate stuff coming up. There's yeah, I don't want to even introduce some of the frequencies into this conversation by referring to them. But we all know kind of what's going on in the planet at the moment that we're looking at, and it's just in this. We need some. Sorry about that. We need some. Yeah, we need some people to take the time to find their center, and if we can find our center, more and more things will start to settle around us. I believe that with every cell of my body, right? The more we look after ourselves, the more the outer world will start to look after itself. And do I have evidence for that? Well, that's the belief system, right? Like if you can have that faith, if you can calm your ripples, the ripples outside will start to calm. And it's counterintuitive because outside we see waves right now. And it's like, what do I do to pat that wave down? But if you ever try to pat a wave down, it doesn't work. You just end up creating more waves, right? So finding your center, finding that source of comfort from a heart-based, soul-based level. What does your heart really need of you at this particular moment in time? Stillness works, movement works, body-based practices work really well.
Beautiful glimpse into saying yes to the universe. And I have to mention the very opening when you talked about kind of hurting the seas, fishing it a little too hard, the big trawlers from other countries. We had Captain Mike Flynn of Sea Patrol on the show. So if anyone knows an amazing Australian actor, Ian Stenlake, he was on the show and shared a lot and super cool. So people should go check that episode out. We love folks from down under, whether it's New Zealand, Australia, but we really favor New Zealand, Australians. And I've got to say, Australians in my book are some of the most open people I've ever met. They open openness like as if it's a TUI. So, TUI's if if someone knew what a TUI is. Um, Here's the next question. I'm not giving you softballs. Is love the fabric of the universe, and are we alone?
I do wonder if love is the fabric of the universe. Are we alone is a great question as well. So those are two there. In my, I think it'd be beautifully poetic if love was the fabric of the universe. I don't know is the short answer. One thing that I've been able to deduce for myself, and again, everybody feel into what's right for yourself, is we are the universe looking in on itself. So there is this really trippy thing that's going on because your consciousness, Michael over there, your consciousness, the listener tuning in, I'm consciousness, touch with Amrit sitting over here, folded in on itself, talking to itself as if it's separate. So, why? Like, there's a really interesting thing. Why would it be doing that? Now, you can't. I can't say you can comfortably deduce love from there, but you can comfortably, in my humble opinion, as the engineer that was, me from yesteryear, deduce curiosity. You can deduce curiosity. Like, why is it folded in on itself? Why is it looking in on itself? It at least, at the very least, is curious about itself. That's what I call sacred curiosity in my book. And yeah, that's interesting, right? Like for me anyway, it's like the fact that curiosity is the fabric of what's driving it. And you might say, hey, why is it curious about itself? Then you can start to potentially infer, and it's an inference, that maybe it's driven. And this is why self love is a whole spiritual path, because in order to love itself, it needs to get curious about itself and recognize itself. But I'm not sure if I'm at that level of spiritual mastery yet. I'm still hanging out in this sacred curiosity. It's like, wow, our curiosity is something that's really sacred, and it is tethered to the divine fabric of this entire relational universe that we're in. To that point, segues perfectly. Relational universe. Are we alone? Um, there are so many potential dimensions that question could be asked from. Like, are we alone? Is there life on other planets? Are we alone? Are there life on other dimensions? Are we alone? Are there angels guiding and supporting our path? And that's just, I've given you three, and there's probably like 50 more that aren't even in our awareness. So are we alone? I think the mind needs order amongst the chaos, so it filters and blocks out a lot of stuff. What's on the other side of all the filtering? Who knows? Who knows? Is probably the short answer. But I've had some really interesting experiences. I know you've had some really interesting experiences. I know a lot of the guests that you brought onto the podcast have had some really interesting experiences as well. And at the through line, because I know there's going to be some people tuning into this that are skeptical at the end of the day. And for me, for them, it's like, hey, the through line is if it helps you with your sense making through, reality, then I wouldn't be so quick to discount it. Yeah, because ultimately we are the horses with the blinkers on. Yeah. And understandably so. When you get into like Vedic and Hindu, like there's so much chaos, and the goddesses and the gods for chaos are always quite intimidating to even just look at, let alone digest. And so if you're looking at these forces of order and how you make sense, for someone being a medium and connecting to people on the other side makes sense for them, sure, like if that's what's helping you navigate reality with the most amount of order, I wouldn't be so quick to discount such things. Um, are we alone? I don't think so. Do I have proven evidence that we are? I mean, I've got my own felt subjective experiences, but evidence, neither that. No, I don't have that either.
Well put. And your comment about consciousness, you have your consciousness, my consciousness, the audience has their consciousness, ishness. It's like baklava, a sheet of it before it's been cut up with a lot of honey. And then we're all connected.
Yum.
And it is there if you'll trust it and allow for it. Um, so I love the answer. And I wanted to ask, do you have something maybe you haven't shared on a show? Because you've been a guest in a lot of places as well as being a show host with a lot of amazing guests. Is there something you can share? It was dream time. It could have been a relative coming through, but it might have been an angel. It was a stranger with sparkly eyes. You just got lit up in your field and you couldn't stop talking about it or thinking about it for 5 days. Was there a moment last week in your teens, 20 years ago when you were two?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been happening a lot recently because a lot of people around me, I mean, I was one of the first of my friends to have children, um, even though I was quite older, but most of my friends are even older than I am, but they're having children late in life. And watching them have children, there seems to be this really, I don't know how to describe it. There's just this thing about the kids that are coming through. And maybe because I'm getting older and becoming more sentimental or something, I just like looking at the next generation and the people that are going to inherit this earth. There just seems to be this, there's a different frequency. There's a different frequency. And again, at the risk of sounding like this repetitively, you can look at the generational planets in someone's chart and sort of see, okay, so these is a very different influence that they're born under collectively, and what that means in terms of what they're heralding in, as opposed to what we were heralding in and what we inherited. So there is that element to it. But I've just been super, super inspired by the kids that are coming in. I mean, obviously, my friends are now sending me their birth details. I'm looking at these charts and looking at it, it's like, wow, like, that's a really cool. Wow, that's a really cool. And I'm just like, wow, these kids that are coming in, maybe it's just my circle of like friends, but I don't think it is. I think the generation that's coming ahead of us, yeah, there's that conversation that many spiritual teachers have. Souls know kind of what they're coming in for. And I think to that point, we can often, I'm conscious of how, I don't want to say mundane, but in some ways, yeah, the mundane, like it's earthen, right? Like people are being incarnate, and your question could have led us anywhere in terms of what's inspiring. It's like I had a vision, or I had, but actually, it's in the 3D. It's earthbound. Watching these kids that are coming through, yeah, it's just really doing something for me at the moment, in terms of what is possible, and it's a little bit intimidating because we look at the world that we've inherited and we've got some hang-ups about it, and then it's like, oh, best try to make it as palatable for them to receive, but then you're looking at the beings that they are, and it's a very different frequency, and it's quite inspiring. It's very inspiring.
Well, hey, I think back to the 80s and look at some of the folks that came in to help inspire us. Um, whether it was Flock of Seagulls or Psychedelic Furs, I swear some of those musicians, it's not a coincidence that they came in when they did to give us
Mm.
a lot of light music, whether it's a capital L or not. Again, another great answer. What's something that comes to mind just spontaneously right now? If you have your own way of doing your intuition, listening, what's a topic that if you're spinning the twister wheel right now, or the dial, or whatever that is for the game Twister. What's coming in out of the blue? This is a chance to really let go. And at home, folks, just close your eyes, ask the universe to come in if you don't mind using the word angels. Ask for a big hug, get a whoosh of energy, feel yummy in the tummy, wind in the room if you want to go wild. I always run to my thermostat when that happens, and I'm like, okay, it was the AC.
Mm. It's interesting because you're inviting me to listen, and the resounding message is listen. So it's pun intended, question mark. Um, but again, I guess in communicating that, I'm demonstrating listening. So yeah.
Let's do a little of that. I'm gonna blow a little sage your way. We're gonna kind of do like a game show, rapid fire with the universe. Maybe a couple angels, maybe somebody else, a figure from India, perhaps. Each one can give you a topic. It's whichever way this rolls. But we've done the sage thing before. It's what I remember most about you. Always a beautiful studio, but you had a further back camera angle, so I could see much more of it. And then when you got the sage, you were like jumping up and down, laughing hysterically. And I've never forgotten the laugh. It's how I just associate you. It's
I haven't
wonderful.
forgotten the sage.
Yeah. And so here's the sage, but it doesn't have to be sage. It could be campfire smell. It's really angels, the universe bringing you the smell. Like if there are no limits in life, you knew it as a kid, maybe there are really no limits. Allow, allow, allow. And time and space isn't what you think it is. We have a inkling about that. We suspect that. Okay, so some people start tasting the sage as I'm lighting it. Just catch a little. What are you getting, Amrit, in Melbourne, Australia? People check out his show, Inspired Evolution. He's doing a great job. Lot of conversation going on.
Yeah, I can smell wood fire.
Good, perfect. Oh, and close your eyes, but get extra. It might
So
be,
it gets me every time. Like,
yep.
what is that?
Close
Dude.
your eyes. Let universe, your best angels come in, your best influencer. Unconditional love. Have them bring you either flowers, a cooking smell, the
Mm.
smell of something on brandy. I don't know what that is. Something unusual. Could be from childhood. It could be favorite dish. Could be mountain fresh air coming in from some other location. And you can just ask angels or Native American chiefs or figures from India to bring you the incense smell. Or what did I do? Sage, sweetgrass. You don't have to light anything. That's a lot for the mind. You'll react for a couple weeks, but you'll get over it, I promise, within 2 to 10 years. Okay, so did you get anything else?
Mm. Yeah, there was a message around clarity as well. So I think pairing the two messages together is, yeah, feeling intuitive for me at the moment. I think we need to take the time to listen. We need, wow, you're shooting all over everybody. I'm calm down. Um, but the opportunity to listen is really present, front and center. And I think I need to probably qualify that and provide some context a little bit. I mean, maybe I'll just use myself as an example. When I first started my podcast, I look back, I every now and then listen back to episode one, which is really just a grounding exercise, to just look at, oh yeah, this is where we've come from and this is where we are, and just feeling into the thread and the essence of what's been going on. And I say this in jest, but my first ever guest was Nat, my yoga teacher and mentor of mine, and we're chatting away, and I mean, it took me like 25 minutes to ask a question and just provide the content. And so I was just, and I look back now and I was like, oh, you were like interviewing people, but lovingly, you were also looking for a lot of space to share your own thoughts and ideas by ways of an interview being an excuse when you first started, right? And, understandably, I was a lot younger and it was a long time ago. So a lot of compassion, but also looking at just how much evolution there's been in listening, right? And I think that's also one of the things that I've had to learn more and more. Like, let's say I'm in an interview with Michael and I'm interviewing Michael, and even what's happening probably right now for Michael is he's listening to me sharing away, and what's happening for him is like fireworks are going off in his head. It's like, oh, there's a tangent there, there's a thought tangent there, there's a thought tangent there, there's a thought tangent there, and there's like literally 8 parallel timelines that have opened up in his mind of which way he could take the conversation next. Yeah, and then he's going to intuitively feel back into that heart that we referred to earlier, and then go, I've just got to trust that this is the one that's most pertinent to me, or this is the one that's being called upon, and that's the door that's lighting up, and I'm going to go with that direction. And literally, the other seven he has to give up on at that moment in time. Yeah, which is it doesn't sound like much, but this is a level of listening, and then he's got to then afterwards potentially go back and listen back to the episode and go, huh, what does it reflect about me that I wanted that question of all the others that were present to me at that particular juncture? And you're watching how many times that So there's an opportunity to listen and then meta listen and then meta listen and then listening and watching. And I guess it's the observer. But I think when I say the observer, it becomes this nebulous thing. Whereas listening, I'm hoping is something that is much more grounded. And so drawing back into what we were saying earlier, the time and the context that we're in, I think listening to what's coming up at this moment in time that's potentially bigger, that's under the subtext of, oh, this is what I'm actually hearing right now. What are we actually listening to metaphysically, energetically? What are the signs of the times? So yeah, the opportunity to listen, I think, is what intuitively came through. And then it's interesting that the next part of that fell into clarity. And I guess I'm back to that water patting metaphor. If you listen, you find stillness, you find center, things will hopefully clarify, or at least you trust in that, right? But if we're starting to pat things and it's like I'm taking in data and input, and I can't judge this because I've done this myself, and so many people that I'm looking around me are doing that. It's like inputs coming in, this is going on in Gaza, and then they're trying to like solve stuff, and it's like this is happening in the US, and they're trying to, and it's like based on that initial impulse, they're then trying to resolve frequencies around them. And it's like, whoa, like, I mean, it's important that you digest and move through the information, but in a time like this where there's so much overwhelming information coming through all at once, it's taken people off their center, and then you're not responding in a clear, cohesive, coherent way. So giving you the opportunity to listen and then just potentially allow some of that to settle. Yeah. And then go, okay, from a centered place, from a clear place, this is clearly what my next step is. And like I said before, it might just be taking a nice long walk in nature. Yeah. And this is, I know I sound a bit pie in the sky at the moment, so let's get grounded with it as the engineer in me. Like, you're, okay, let's call it, you're useless if you're not resourced, right? Like Tony Robbins, Personal Development 101, his whole thing is state, is everything. Like you've got to like maintain your state. Like one of my favorite things to connecting to Michael, every time you come here, it's just boom, like joy. Like you just cannot avoid joy. Like you're in the crosshairs of joy. Like it is just, state is absolutely everything. And if you're off your center and you're like compromised, I put that in air quotes for you, but you know, off your center, let's just keep going with that, then you're not resourced. And if you're not resourced, then how are you showing up for your loved ones? How are you showing up for your family? How are you showing up for your work? How are you showing up for you? Take the time and space to show up for you, even if it's just a micro pocket. I know we're busy. It's like the trawler thing is happening right now, but there lies just like find yourself a pocket, listen to yourself. What is like what's being communicated to you right now on every level that you can sort of sit, settle with, afford yourself some spaces for clarity.
I got two things. I had to let go of the other 14, but um,
See, he listens. Touch wood.
everything is your instruction and opportunity for growth, or for clarity and growth. And then Archangel Uriel, like 10 years ago, said, um, if more people would listen, less conflict would result in any given situation. And I always thought that was a beautiful quote. I had to read it though. Um, with your permission, I'm going to put up just a couple actual photographs of angels, but you might get one historical photo of a woman from the 1950s from Italy, but I use her for another angel, and she's intercom, and I wouldn't skip this one for $1 million. She moves in that photo, and I think you're going to really like it. And then maybe we'll do some light, and then we'll start to wrap it up with the biggest takeaways you could leave us with all the time you've been dedicating to others, but I would argue that it's fivefold what you've been dedicating to your own self-love and your immediate surroundings as well, like high frequency. So here comes Joy for you. She's an angel. If anybody wants to put their hand out, they can feel the vibe. We've done this on the show before. The only thing I'm reminding you is just set your intent in the moment. It's like, hey, this is going to be the best cup of tea I've ever had, and just let the universe do the rest. So, angels, get me out of my head into my heart. Help me feel something or hear something. What are you getting from Joy? Have her bring you flowers. It could be the smoked incense thing. It could be India incense that you just can't get anywhere unless you're in that one part of India. Hear a laugh in the air if you want. You can see light around you. It's any which way and loose, that Clint Eastwood movie from the 1970s. Okay, what are you hearing from Joy as a reminder for all of us? You're totally intuitive, by the way. I'm going to throw you under the bus. You're a healer, whether you know it or not, because you do such good work for folks. Your presence. And so here's Joy. What are you getting from her? What are you feeling? What came in?
I'm not sure if it's personal or collective, but she's invited me to connect to the moon. So yeah.
Awesome. There you go. And I'll do Claire. She's clarity, but she chose resilience. So anyone who's gone through childhood trauma or just trauma in general, or a lot of ebb and flow in life, welcome to your, being human. Here's Claire. And what are you getting from Claire?
Wow, she's challenging my edges a little bit. I got trust in mutation, and I was like, well, mutation is an interesting word, but it's cool because it's resilience, right? So obviously, we're always ever evolving. I mean, if the word mutation was swapped out for evolution, I wouldn't have any troubles with it. But I'm conscious you probably chose that word to find my edges for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be geeky and I'm going to show one photo of those two at a concert in Austin, Texas, where it's not raining that night. Um, and here we go. And you can see both of them. So I had a Sure Shot camera, but there's Joy in the middle, pink, and there's the purple, that's Claire. It's not raining. That's a lot of angels, not just orbs. I know that's a really big thing to say these days, orbs, but a lot of angels. So I'll leave that. And then one more for you. She's intercom, but she's going to be one of your favorites because literally, if you've walked out and never caught the ocean at 5, 6, 7 a.m., it's complete flat, like a mirror with no waves, no wind. It's untouched. That's her. And she's great at helping with expansion. Her name's Isabel, Isabel. You can spell it any way you want. But here's an angel who's intercom. Let her move in this photo. Let the eyes come more alive. Let the semi smile turn into a smile. You'll feel her like a solar wind top to bottom. Just say, yeah, that you're getting some extra vibe.
There is a stillness about it for sure.
Cool. And then if you don't mind getting a topic, because I'm going to put this down in a second, let her give you a beautiful topic that's right in your repertoire to talk about, or it's been popping up a lot lately.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you. What'd you get?
Self-permission.
Ooh, huge. No one's ever talked in 400 episodes here of different types. No one's ever talked about self-permission, so this is an original bit of content.
Okay, let's grab our cups of tea. Um, yeah, I mean, okay, it was interesting because you mentioned calm and it spoke to me quite deeply. And again, I'm going to lean into Astro Speak, so part of me want to try and keep it as digestible as possible. But I'm Taurus rising, and so one of the things about Taurus rising is Taurus is calm, steady. So everybody looks in at the podcast and goes, "Hey, like, you did this podcast thing, and it's like every week." And I'm like, I mean, the kids, this people will ask, "What's the secret sauce?" I mean, for the last 8.5 years, every week an episode's gone out. It's just consistency. Like it's honestly just consistent. And then some people will project and be like, "Oh, you've got this discipline," and I'm like, do I have this discipline? I'm not like, I know that's, it sounds, I wish I could, I've got this discipline, And honestly, it's actually, and now I can comfortably say, oh, that's just Taurus rising doing his thing.
Mm.
There's things that Taurus is a sign that like embodies value. He understands what he values. And then he's like, it's the ball. So he can plow the field, just tick, tock, one step after the other and has no issues with it. And so it didn't even feel like discipline. It just feels like that's what we do. Like this is what I value. This is what we do about it, and that's Taurus rising like in a T. And so I'm conscious what has been coming through a big part of astrology for me. And the reason I'm falling more and more and more and more and further in love with it head over heels to the point where it's, yeah, lovingly consuming me, is this really interesting thing where I'm almost a little bit more hesitant going onto a podcast now because I can't tell you like this is what you need to do. And like to the point before, it's like everybody feel into where you are at with this. Yeah. And I think even in spiritual development, leaning on from personal development, which we all sort of mature into spiritual development from, I think, um, we end up shooting all over each other. There's this real shoulding energy, which is like, you should meditate, you should breath work, and absolutely you should meditate. But do you know what I mean? Like you should, it's just, you should this and you should that and you should this and you should that and you should this and you should. And by the time you look at all the things you should be doing, by the time you've finished your morning practice, it's time to go back to bed. And you know, let's just continue with my example. I'm Taurus rising. Yeah. I used to run half marathons, like that was just my thing. Yeah. I used to do that. And now I look back and like, I ended up with plantar fasciitis, some knee stuff, touch wood way back when, all good now. But I'm looking at it and it's like, oh, Taurus is a bull. Like slow and steady does it, mate. And before what I said, long walks in nature are working wonderfully for me. What would a bull like to do? Go for a nice long walk and stroll in the sun. Yeah. And it's been amazing. And so one of the key things is looking at, and this is a massive medicine that astrology has brought into my life at the moment is not typecasting people. I mean, it's interesting because there's, you're like, oh, but there's, this many planets and there's this many houses and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but you've got like nine to the power of nine to the power of nine. Like that's a really interesting sort of typecasting and the interplay between everything, every unique, it's literally snowflakes, right? Each person is individuated. And the cool thing that I see coming through and the message that popped through before was the peace, as you mentioned, her frequency, in terms of just how much more peace we can feel when we give ourselves permission to be who we are. There's that quote, which is one of my favorites. Rumi said it, the cracks are where the light gets in. And I think we spend so much of our time patching up our lights. There shouldn't be a crack here. There should be a light here. Or, it should. And again, sometimes it's like, actually, no, I'm human and I came in human this particular way. And this is my fullest humanness. And these are some things that I'm going to be really, really good at. And these are some things I'm going to need a lot of help with. And we're all here to help each other. We're all meant to be in community and connection and in service to each other and to receive, to give. And that self permission piece, I mean, when you think about peace, I think about how much off our center, once again, we are trying to be someone we're not. Yeah. And so coming back to interfacing with, oh, this is really who I am, and I can make my peace with who I am in a broad brush, that's self permission. That's self permission.
Pisces, February 24th, late 60s here. 68, I'll say it on air. That's fine. And what you just said about like the light getting in, let's do a little light. And I am being light about this. You're gonna get another dad joke, and get to see an aura between my fingers. We've done this before, I believe. The second you do get just some aura light, it's on everything. You're seeing it all the time. You might accidentally see it on your dog or a tree, just, those moments you went pure bliss or just here. So you see a little bit of light, but I'll go bigger and wider, and you can have the universe, angels, whatever you want to say, loving beings, just a big consciousness coming in and making an object for you. We've had two phoenixes, we've had two red cardinals, we've had flowers, we've had vortices, we've had a ball of light, we've had geometrical. I don't even have the Merkaba stuff like that. The sophisticated stuff. We've had everything, and it's whatever you want it to be. But you're letting the artists do their job. So we're stepping out of our own way. And here's the dad joke: Bert and Ernie, Sesame Street. I think I told you this one before. Bert offers Ernie ice cream. What's Ernie say? Sure, Bert.
I do remember this one. I do remember that one.
Because you have the kids, so that's why I think you remember that. Okay, so here's the light between my fingers. If anybody needs help, just be like, "Hey, angels, get me out of my head into my heart." Your heart's doing the Zen thing; it's seeing without seeing already. So just see with your heart, all of you. And one more dad joke: What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips. And what color do you see in a little filament or light or stream between my fingers?
I think it's white, light bluish.
Cool. And
White.
white's all the colors combined, so it's big, it's good. And now I'm doing bigger and wider. Let everybody come in, self-permission, and just let go and get a nice broader, is it tie-dye? Is it vortices? Is it a ball of light? Is it more of a hummingbird? It could be anything.
It's got this broader sort of helix thing that is this DNA helix.
Okay, and I'm going to put this away in a second, but if anybody wants to like just get a hug from the universe, just ask for a little bit of that light to come over. And you can play that over, blah, blah, blah. Let's take it from there. What has been something that you just doesn't fit the jigsaw puzzle? It's a piece that it happened and it's private. You don't have to get into the details, but was it a dream? Was it a vision? Was it something that you're just like, yeah, I haven't gone there yet. I haven't unpacked it the whole way. Have you seen lights in the sky? Did you have a grandmother visit you in a dream? Was it deja vu, but all over again for the third time?
Um, I'm still in this. processing of my pet and the other side. Um, yeah, so I'm still with that quite a bit, to be honest. And I still, with young kids, it's hard to give yourself the space always to process something of that nature without like it's interspersed because obviously you're parenting and you're working and then boom, your stuff drops in and then so you're parenting and you're working and then boom, your stuff drops in. Long walks have been amazing, as you can imagine. I used to go on these long walks with my pet,
Oh,
and so there's this real process that's around them around these walks as well, which is yeah, just reflecting on impermanence and what we have. And but I think to your point, especially given the podcast that I do, people talk a lot about there's the edge. I'm almost uncomfortable talking about it. Communication to the other side, and I don't know enough about it. But that's the edge. That's the thing that I don't know a lot about.
it's just
But I'm interviewing a lot of.
self permission and listening. So,
Probably,
okay,
probably, yeah.
you're gonna get an angel. I've got three figures for you. The third's from India. The first one, you're not gonna get share anything out loud. You're just gonna get something private. It's from Charlotte and Angel. Make sure you get a hug, but get something private, especially about the pooch. If you don't mind breathing through your mouth a little, shoulders up and down at home, folks, counts as breathing. We all want to like tighten up a little, but just allow. Here's something from her, and just say, "Got it" when you got it. And I
Got
did
it.
the Yoda voice before the show. Maybe I'll do it on one of these photos when it's blocking me out so I don't feel too camera shy.
Got it. Yeah,
Okay,
got
good.
it.
Here's Mac. Don't call her Mackenzie. She's everything plants, animals, and nature. So if you don't mind hearing something else private, but here you're about to have a little bit of a seatbelt roller coaster experience. It might stay private, it might not. We'll see. Just here's something fun and uplifting, though, or a reminder about how love is love. On the other side or here, it's what connects. And got that one okay?
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
and she's got a Pleiadian background. It was a year ago they started giving not every angel. Some are from here, and there's it's like that Green Lantern series where they're from all over the cosmos. So all shapes, sizes, and colors, and all different backgrounds. Back to India. The Divine Mother, she often is seen riding on a tiger. Well, I've got that tiger. It's an action figure on the wall here. Action, 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 but soft fur. And that tiger's on everyone's team. Not an angel, not a spirit guide, deity-like, but totally friendly. And I know why Exxon in the 1980s or 90s had a slogan on their advertisements: "Put a tiger in your tank." This is that tiger. Okay, here's the tiger. If you don't mind getting something from the tiger, but while you're doing this, you can close your eyes, see a little bit of India. And if you don't mind putting your right hand out or left hand, whichever way is the more open spot of the room, as if I'm assuming your dog's tall enough to do this, but put it at the height of the dog where you'd feel the dog.
Oh,
But right now, first feel tiger fur, soft, shampooed. This tiger is awesome. Big, soft fur. Maybe I should have left your hand up just because tiger's usually pretty big. But better than Jaguar Spirit because Jaguar Spirit's wiry and short and it's totally a different feeling. So say got it when you feel the tiger fur.
yep, got it.
Okay, and then see a little bit of India, catch a little I don't know. I'm saying the word verve. I barely know what it means. Catch a little confidence, a little spark, a little highest vibration of the highest forest in some part of India. Because India is like 40 countries. We're talking the coolest part of India that maybe you only get to go to once every 20 years, if not 20 lifetimes. Okay, so catch that. And then if you don't mind, leave your eyes shut. And if you don't mind letting, again, all your different little advisors, invisible, fun, bring you the pooch. Put your hand out and just feel, hear. This is a very personal thing. Don't have to say a word about it, but get something. You can always hear your pets as third graders, like the one in front of you or the one on the other side. So, daddy, daddy, I love you. But you'll hear something, feel the fur. If you want to get a lick, you can get a lick. And if you need an angel to ride shotgun, Joy earlier is great for this. Have her hold your hand, have her make it easier because this is a lot right now. Breathe extra, mouth open 1 millimeter. Is it? Shoulders up and down. Yeah. And just give us a yeah or whatever an
Yeah.
Australian says. Thank you. You're doing it, and this is private to you. And I'm getting teary eyed here. So, and my pooch's back legs are not 100% toast, but I'm lifting her to get her up on a couch or a bed and everything else. And so, it's starting to be time. But I heard extra play today on a run, so that was really cool news. So I'm gonna hug her as much as I can.
Nice.
And And get one more thing. Oh, get advice from whoever's coming in right now for all of us, because we're all facing the same human condition. And I feel like this is what you do. I'm getting fried right now. You are such a good bringer outer, communicator. Your guests shine on the show. This is what you help people experience compassion for all. And with that, I bought you your time. Come back if you could. And what is it you want us to know each and every day? I think you've been touching on it the whole show. It's the baklava, it's the honey, but you need to take a bite.
What came through was to invite you all to trust each other.
Oh, that's huge.
Mm. I think I needed to hear that just as much as everyone else did.
My arms are on fire. The goosebump things. Yes, trust. And it's also faith, religious, non-religious, letting go. What is it? Yeah, letting go and just being. So look, we've given you the ingredients. You got to make another sheet of baklava. Compassion, being, what was that other word? Faith, trusting more, and self-permission. So I'm sorry, you're wearing the chef hat right now and these. Take that and you've got to make one final recipe. And then I'm going to have you do a mantra for us all, but you got to repeat it 3 times so people can pick up on your vibe, because I think we're so connected. And I think this is what you're going to touch on, that we're so connected. It was your consciousness thing before, that just you being you saying a mantra 3 times, it's really important to you in your heart, allows others to pick up on you. We'll get them over to your show and check you out more. Okay. What are you taking? Where are you taking us with these ingredients?
I think ultimately is to bring people home to themselves.
And the heart is the home. And that's
Mm,
an old Zen expression. And I
mm,
do have a bonus. I have a Native American chief. He's unconditional love. He's action, action, action. He's on everyone's team. He's a famous name, Geronimo. But
mm.
this one will clean up everything for you. He is dry wit, humor, action. When he first cursed 10 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I'm out of business. He's been with me since 1970 when I was 2, and my dad passed over, and it's a long story. And 2 other chiefs. But here's Geronimo. Get something private. He's comes in like a lightning bolt. And then back to the big conversation. How do we all stay the course? How do we stay in our hearts? What do we need to know about being that inner fearless, peaceful warrior? Get something private first. He should have already given it to you like 10 minutes ago. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's he say as a reminder for everybody?
Yeah. That we don't navigate it alone. We're here to support each other. Um,
Oh, another home
yeah,
run. It's
that
getting to be
trust each
World
other.
Series time up here in about a month. And you just hit another ball out of the park. The leather came off the ball. The poor kid on the other side of the stadium's disappointed. No autographs. Well, maybe it does write better on the ball without the leather. I don't know. Okay, I'm buying you time. I will do, I didn't do Yoda's voice on air, did I? No.
No.
Dude, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna buy you time for the mantra, even though you probably have one up your sleeve. But you can have an angel. I'll just pick this crew in case a new one comes in that you've never used before. You got to say it 3 times, and you're giving people a chance to, and I don't know if I like this word, taste, to touch your consciousness flow, the slipstream that's global, the consciousness you talked about. You're sharing it in this moment, only at the highest intent for decades to come. Angels running the barrier here. So just love and above. But here's a bunch of angels for you. Let an amazing mantra come through. You got to repeat it 3 times. Oh, I got it. I'm doing Yoda's voice hidden behind 4 angels. Mm, do not. There is no try. Okay, I did it. And I made you laugh. That's the best. Okay. Yay. All right, Amrit, you're on the spot. We wrap it up after that. What's the mantra you want to share 3 times?
Yeah. It would be Om. Be Om. It'd have to be Om. Yeah. Um, just to ground you guys in, there's they consider it the seed mantra. And so in one way to articulate it is, and I'm getting super heady, but pardon me for 1 sec. Reality is considered this Maya, and in the West we collapse Maya into the word illusion, and it's so not illusion. Um, I mean, that's like calling something that's 99 dimensional 3D or 2D. You've collapsed it rather hard, and you've left out a lot of the baklava. You've just got this one little pistachio, and you're going to go baklava. So it doesn't really work that way. And so, with that in mind, Maya, which gets loosely translated to, and incorrectly so, to illusion, um, is what's appearing outside you. So mysticism 101 begins with you see the world out there, yeah? And it's like, yeah. And where do you see the world? With my eyes. And where do your eyes process the information inside my head? So let me ask you again. You see the world out there? Oh, I see the world in my head. And then mysticism begins, right? So this is, or metaphysics begins, however you want to look at it. So the outer world, the Maya, as they like to call it, in the Hindu faith, picture it as something that, let's just say, is a hologram. Let's go with that terminology for a minute. The mechanical whir of the machine that is projecting the hologram in place. If you can picture like a PC has a fan noise, yeah. If you picture like you go to the cinemas and there's like a projector screen, there's like like the projector has this sound that it makes as it's moving through film. The sound of the projector of this reality that we're experiencing. Oh. 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 Touch wood. Hope that helps.
I have one last item for you. It's not a figure, but it's asking the whole universe, and you can hear the if you really want to let go, but we're not there yet. When I do this with my hands and I pull them apart, keeping them parallel, it looks like I'm opening my hands this way. It's not keeping them parallel. Do you mind doing this with your hands? And allow light or at least warmth between your hands. Let angels come in, figures from India, your ancestors, everything that's love and above and amazing. Feel the light between your hands and see it if you want to allow. But as you start to compress to get to the hands together, let it go, it will go real slow and let it go through your entire core. So, like your Kundalini expressed down your back, but yummy in the tummy, a whoosh up the front. Feel the most amount of light and feel your crown chakra go wide open, and whatever more definition you need or want in terms of like you've got a way you'll view it, all the love, all the planets, all the stars aligned in the world coming through in a miraculous way in the moment. But when you do get your hands together, I'm going to say thank you for being on the show, and we're going to be seeing each other again. You're coming back in December of 2025. Did you get a little? I'm getting goosebumps. You must have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot, right?
Touch wood. Yeah, these, yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
Amrit Sandhu, you're a mystic and you're amazing at what you do for inspiring others. And your contemplative side gives us sort of a circuit breaker that we don't have to plunge in the pool straight off. It was what you said. Maybe it's not meditation. It's just you give us breathing room to sort of sort it out ourselves, even though we might be an Olympic diver or Olympic swimmer, we just didn't know it. We just have to look back and see it's Plato's cave a little, like you said. We didn't
Mm,
realize there are all the uniforms, all our medals. We'd just forgotten temporarily. You help
mm.
us remember something. And I'm going to say that remembering is the om or the love or the compassion or all the other words we've used. And I just love what you said about self-permission before. So, Amrit, great to see you again. Thank you for being a guest. You're wonderful.
Michael, it is always absolutely such a pleasure and an honor and a treat to be here. Thank you so much. You have this incredible gift of bringing the best out in people. Thank you so much for your blessings. Appreciate you.
Thank you.